Entitled mom wants me to change birthday party so her kid can attend. My kid's birthday party is this weekend. This mom had already RSVP'd yes that her kid would attend. I got a text 3 nights ago asking if I could change the date of the party because he now has soccer game he has to play in. He's 10 years old, definitely not D1 or pro. Sure, I'm going to call all the other parents in the party venue to adjust to your schedule despite your previous commitment. I managed to respond with a polite decline, and yet she still came back with another date that would work for them. Left her on red. A small child punched me in the stomach, BC. I wouldn't let him pet my dog. My very old dog was outside in our yard, foaming at the mouth, gasping for air, and it was coming out the other end. This was right after he had incontinence in the house. I was crashing out because the vet said he could die any day, so I'm thinking, this is the end. I'm in the yard figuring out what to do, and I see in my peripheral vision some kid running up to us on my yard. This is not one of the neighborhood kids. He's from a party up the street. His mom. Hope it's okay if they play. My son is due for a doggy play date. I physically put myself in between the child and my dog. The child fucking punched me in the stomach. It took everything in me not to physically retaliate to a child. Sorry, call me a bad person, IDC. I respectfully restrained her child by the arm and marched him to his mom. She freaked out that I put my hands on her son. I ignored her because my dog was my only priority. Then the fucking dad struts over to us and starts screaming in my face to never lay his hand on his kid again. His son just wanted to pet your dog. I was so overstimulated because the kid was screaming bloody murder, having a tantrum that he can't pet my dog. Meanwhile, my dog has a tonic-clonic seizure, full shaking, unconscious. They suddenly got real quiet and finally back off. I hear the mom tell her son, "The doggy isn't feeling well, we have to go let him rest." Those parents are so fucking lucky. I'm a healed person. I sat my yard in the dark with my dog until for my vet to came to my house. My dog couldn't walk after everything that had just happened. He weighs nearly as much as I do, so I needed help moving him. My husband was away for work. This was on Wednesday. We put my dog down on Friday.
A parent used my credit and threatened me. At the beginning of 2023, my mother opened 2 lines of credit under my name, without my knowledge, with Navy Federal and Amex, while I was a full-time student, using them to cover bills and other expenses. Much later, I discovered both credit cards when I signed up for Experian's credit report services, and saw them under my name. After I confronted her, she promised, in both text messages and voice notes, that she would pay off all the cards she had opened in my name once she received her retirement money. When her retirement funds came in, she did pay off both cards. I then directed her to close the account since they were opened without my full awareness. However, an argument ensued when she refused to close them, and she even threatened to evict me if I filed an identity theft report or disputed any charges, which I also have documentation of. Now that I've graduated and am actively seeking full-time employment and a room to rent, I've noticed that she continues to rack up debt on these cards. Despite her earlier promises to pay them off, it's becoming increasingly clear that she may not follow through, and the debt is likely to keep growing. She justifies her actions by saying she needed the cards to manage bills while I was a student, which I understand. However, I have multiple messages where she explicitly agreed to pay them off, and all notifications and emails related to the credit accounts go directly to her, not me. As I plan to move out, I'm concerned about how to resolve this situation and free myself from the debt. Given the evidence I have of her promises to pay off the cards, what are my options for addressing this and protecting my financial future?
My mom had sex with a guy in my bed. Hi, my mom has recently been seeing 4 men. She is 57 years old and always acts like an 18-year-old. I recently saw today she has been having sex with a man in my bed, which obviously I am fuming about as it's disgusting. I am also autistic and my bedroom is my safe place. From this, I have called her a slag and vile behavior because it is, and I said, why should I pay rent when you are doing this behind my back? She has turned around saying I am nasty, disgusting, and has banned my boyfriend coming round the house as a form of punishment, which I don't see why I should be punished as I have every right to be angry. My mom is also someone who never apologies and slags of her kids when she doesn't get her way, so hopefully you can already see the type of person she is. I just saw a lady get tasered for trying to snatch a woman's face mask to give her to child. I argued with my husband about whether or not to post this because I'm pretty sure this will make the local news and I didn't want to burn this account just yet. But he won RPS, so here we are. Prepare yourself, this story has layers. We were at the dreaded big box store picking up potting soil because we are going to DIY ourselves through the isolation. Things aren't crazy here yet, but there is a 2 per customer limit on a majority of items. I assume this means everything, so we're getting 2 bags each of a few different types of soil. My husband is loading the last of 8 bags on our cart when I hear her. I know it's a Karen just by the level of unnecessary outrage in her voice. Karen, are you kidding me? Not a lot of people out here in the garden center, but we all look to her. I was almost disappointed to see she didn't come with the requisite haircut. She actually looked like a frazzled mom, her kid tugging on her hand and an overfull handbasket of groceries, and I had a moment of, girl, I feel you. But damn it, she was pointing at us. Karen, you can't buy that many. You are hoarding. My husband, yeah, we can, we're getting 2 each. Karen, oh, you don't fool me, I know what you're doing. My husband, so do I, fuck off. I'm just sitting there imagining all the ways I'm gonna rock his world tonight. Well, Karen huffed at that, spun around, and yanked her kid back inside to go complain to the employee working the register nearby. Now, we already paid for our items. The employee had come out and scanned the bags earlier, and he could easily see our cart from inside. So, being finished, we pushed the cart out of the garden center into the parking lot. And then the automatic doors open behind us, and I hear, now they're stealing! Juiced! Great! We load the soil in the car and turn around to bring the cart back and look at plants. By the time we get back, Karen has given up on trying to convince the employee we're the Bonnie and Clyde of dirt and is now trying to negotiate skipping somebody in line. She has a child, you see, and her handbasket, well, it's just so full and heavy. Could she please just scooch right on in here real quick and it'll just be an extra second, she swears. The woman Karen is trying to skip is young, maybe college age, and wearing a face mask. Not a medical mask, but the stretchy kind you'd wear while riding a motorcycle or when you're skiing. My husband has just informed me it's a net gaiter. The mask is black and has like scary wolf teeth on it that honestly made the girl look like somebody you should not fuck with, even though she was wearing a Gap t-shirt and flip-flops. Mask Girl is just shaking her head no, and that's all I got as we dropped off the cart. I browse, pick up a couple plants, and we head inside to wait in line. Now it's showtime. Karen and Mask Girl are near the register facing off, no pun intended. From the looks of things, Mask Girl finished her purchase and Karen stopped her before she could leave. I don't know if she grabbed her or anything, but Karen was still holding her full handbasket so she hadn't checked out yet. Well, she hadn't paid for her groceries yet because clearly this woman had checked out. Karen, but you don't even need it now, you're leaving. My son could get sick because you won't give it to him and he needs it. Mask Girl, hell no, you can't have it. Back off, lady. Karen, but my son really likes it, and it's obviously made for boys anyway. Why would you even want to wear something so scary? Mask Girl, because I like it, and it has my germs on it. Why would you put a stranger's mask on your kid? Karen, ugh, why are you being so rude? You wouldn't let us go through the checkout first, and now you're making my son very upset. Mask Girl, your problem, not mine. And then Mask Girl turns to leave while Karen manifests the biggest balls ever and grabs Mask Girl by the back of her mask. Let me make a side note here. When all of this is going down, we're all just standing in line and watching. The register is still going boop, boop, boop as the employee scans items, but otherwise we are all just inside this hypnotic bubble. But when Karen reached out towards Mask Girl, it was like the bubble popped and made everything crystal clear. Not slow-mo or anything, but I absolutely felt hyper-aware, like Spider-Man. Karen reaches out. People on both sides of me inhale loudly. Karen grabs the mask and yanks. A lady on my right yells, and my husband steps forward. So getting laid tonight. Mask Girl tucks her head down and she turns to Karen like a pissed off bull with a bright and shiny new target. I think Karen was going to say something like, "Don't walk away from me," or something, but all she got out was, "Don't crack." I looked around because the noise was so loud I figured the roof was about to cave in, but out of the corner of my eye I see Karen spasm and drop to the floor, writhing. Little Miss Mask Girl had a fucking taser. I don't know when she pulled it out, this tiny little flashlight-looking thing, but she laid Karen out with it. And not one of us moved for what felt like forever, like we were frozen. And then it was fucking bedlam. Security guard shows up, more employees show up. Mask Girl is chilling like she's been through this before and knows what comes next. The kid is screaming that the wolf girl killed his mom, even though she's groaning and sobbing on the floor and clearly not dead, but maybe wishing she was. The people that had been in line with us were all talking at once, trying to tell the security guard what happened. We hung around, just witnessing the insanity for maybe 2 minutes before Karen started choking out demands for an ambulance, the police, a lawyer, the mayor, restitution, and reparations. My husband made eye contact with an employee and got a thumbs up when he put the plants on a shelf and pointed towards the door. We got the fuck out of there. We drove home in silence until my husband parked the car in our driveway, and then we just burst out laughing. Neither of us have ever seen anything like that before. We live in a small beach town. People are super laid back and mellow. Karen was anything but, and I hope to never see her again.